Welcome back to KOMO News. We actually have severe weather issued for parts of the Kitsap Peninsula. This is a tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service. This particular storm is showing signs of potentially producing a quick yet brief tornado. This is in effect here for areas of the Kitsap County until 12:15. So this is, again, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, and it was located near the Seebeck area, or about 8 miles north of Belfair. Now, this dangerous storm is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour and capable of producing a tornado. So we're going to just keep live coverage here of this dangerous storm. I'm going to be just going to the radar here with this alert here. So looking at where this storm is here, so this is just southwest of Silverdale. Looks like the most dangerous part of the storm is near the Crosby area. And again, if you're just joining us, this is indeed a tornado warning. Areas located within this tornado warning do include Silverdale, the Trayton area. We also have the Kitsap Lake in the mix. If you live in this warned area, again, a tornado warning in effect for Kitsap County, you want to take shelter right now. This is a storm that has signs of potentially producing a quick, brief spin-up tornado. Just a couple miles, I would argue, just east of the Crosby area, just about entering into the Wildcat Lake region. So this is a dangerous storm. Want to go to our quick rotation tracker here. Again, I'm doing this freehand as we're live on the air, because this is able to show us rotation within the storm. And I'm going back to where that storm is and pulling up exactly where we have the worst part of the storm. And again, I do think Silverdale, this is the area that has the rotation. So I want to stop it right here. Okay, so basically, Doppler radar is able to indicate some rotation. You see that darker shade near the Hinceville area, Crosby? That is winds basically coming toward the radar, but winds going away from the radar are in the red. So there's a little bit of that counterclockwise rotation in between the Crosby area and Wildcat Lake. So with that being said, this dangerous storm is moving northeast pretty soon into the Wildcat Lake area. On into Silverdale. If you live in this particular spot, best to just take shelter right now, get into the inner hallway of a house if you can, and stay away from windows. As we look at the larger scan here, this is definitely one little cell here near the Kitsap Peninsula, just southwest of Silverdale. Stopping the radar right now. So right about now, it is Wildcat Lake that has the potential of a quick, brief tornado capable of downing trees, maybe ripping some shingles off of roofs. And again, this is moving northeast, and I'll do a little storm track here of exactly where we can see this. The timing of which, Silverdale probably, I would even argue, it says noon there, but that could be probably closer to 11:50, which is in the next few minutes. Tornado warning. Here we are tracking a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. You are looking at the Kitsap County area. This is north of Bremerton, yet south of Paulsbo and south of Brennan area. Areas that have the best potential of possibly seeing some damaging winds do include Silverdale, west into the Wildcat Lake region near the Kitsap County, the Kitsap Peninsula area. So Doppler radar is indicating rotation of this severe thunderstorm, capable of producing a brief tornado, again located near the Seebeck area, about 8 miles north of Belfair. Doppler radar indicating some quick spin-up rotation with this particular cell. It looks concerning, as they often do, these tornadoes. In our area, they happen quickly with little to no warning, and this one is just the same here. So looking at exactly who is in the line for potentially some damaging winds, again, it is areas of Seebeck. As you travel about just northeast of there into the Silverdale region, flying debris is actually one of the most dangerous aspects of a possible tornado. So whenever you have strong winds like this, you want to get indoors, away from windows. You want to cover your head. The inner hallway or the bathtub is the best place to be in a situation like this. So tornado warning, again, issued for Kitsap County, areas of the Erlins Point, Kitsap Lake, as we've been mentioning here. And this is just one storm, but it is showing some signs of rotation here, as we have been seeing through our Doppler radar. So I'm going to go back to our Doppler radar scan here. Again, wider scan. I'm going to go over to our Doppler that's located actually here in Puget Sound to really see where the exact rotation is. So let's see here. Thanks for bearing with me as we do the coverage here.
Kristen, I know you're trying to juggle a lot right now.
Yes.
I'm looking at one of the things that the Northwest Weather Center has put out, saying that in addition to the tornado that it could be coming, that also pea-sized hail is possible in that area. They've also given us some numbers of the potential exposure for this. I'm sure you've seen things like this from them before when they put out these warnings, saying that the area that you've been telling us when you've been naming off some of the towns and areas, that includes a population of more than 86,000 people, saying that 24 schools are also in the area under the warning, and a couple hospitals as well. And then you're giving us the advice that any of those, so 86,878 specifically is what the Weather Service is saying. People under those conditions need to get inside, take shelter. We just don't get tornado warnings here very often. We do have the occasional tornado, but actually having that advance warning of a tornado warning is very rare. I grew up in the Midwest, so we knew when there was a tornado warning, we knew what to do.
Right.
But I think people here aren't really used to getting this type of a warning and knowing how exactly they're supposed to respond to it.
Yeah, and the best thing to do, like I said, you need to get indoors, especially the Wildcat Lake area, east into the Erlins Point and north into Silverdale. And pulling up the rotation tracker, you see that darker shade there near Wildcat Lake, but it's a little bit brighter there near the road there of Silverdale. That is a little bit of a rotation, so that is crossing over that road right now just south of Silverdale at the moment. So Wildcat Lake, Erlins Point, Fairview, Silverdale, these are the areas that we really need to just stay indoors, away from windows. This is a dangerous storm. Doppler radar indicated for the possibility of a tornado. So good point there, Molly. Going back over, if you're just joining us here, we are tracking a tornado warning. This is in effect until 12:15, and we will stay on the air until this storm weakens, hopefully fairly soon within that time frame. The severe thunderstorm that has been capable of producing a tornado was located near Seebeck. It's been moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, and the most dangerous part of that storm is in between the Wildcat Lake area and Silverdale, as we look at the live Doppler radar scan here. Mobile homes, they're not a great place to be. They could easily get destroyed or severely damaged with a strong wind like this. Tree damage is likely from this particular storm. Again, we're looking at a part here of Trayton, Silverdale, Erlins Point, Kitsap Lake. Now is the time to take cover. Dangerous, dangerous storm right now, currently under a tornado warning.
Kristen, is there something unique about this weather system that would potentially be spawning this tornado? Because we have thunderstorms that develop here, even those aren't incredibly common. But what's kind of converging here to create this weather condition?
Yes, good question, Molly. You know, we've had the front move through early this morning, and now we've had a little bit of sun shining in parts of our area. So we're getting these isolated thunderstorms to pop, and there's just enough spin in the atmosphere to produce these quick spin-up tornadoes. And this is what's happening. We often can see these brief, quick spin-up twisters in Western Washington. I mean, we've had one just a couple of years ago, in fact. And just the atmospheric setup is such that once these showers pop, if they become strong enough, they can turn into thunderstorms, and they can acquire some rotation. And this is what this particular storm has done here in Kitsap County. So this is, again, reiterating, tornado warning until 12:15 for Kitsap County. So it expires in 21 minutes. What you are looking at is the outline of red, the area that is under the tornado warning. It does include Silverdale. It does include Erlins Point, the Kitsap Lake, Trayton, with a possible tornadic thunderstorm. If those are the areas where you live, this is the time to seek shelter. Get away from windows. The inner hallway is the best place to be. We're talking in between Paulsbo and Bremerton. So that storm is just about crossing, it looks like, that main thoroughfare just south of Silverdale.
And Kristen, you mentioned Paulsbo. I know that Holly's got an eye on what the weather conditions look like right now.
Yeah, this is a live look.
I think we've got Holly's mic.
Yeah,
Okay,
there we
good.
go. This is a live look from Paulsbo. We know Paulsbo is a little bit north of Silverdale, just about 11 miles, but take a look how dark the skies are in Paulsbo right now. This is likely what it's looking like over Silverdale as well. We know Paulsbo is not included in that tornado warning area, but again, this is what a live picture looks like in Paulsbo right now. Paulsbo just 11 miles north of Silverdale. And we know that people are getting these tornado warnings, emergency alerts on their phone right here in Seattle. We're getting reports that they are getting those tornado warnings here in Seattle. But again, this is for that Silverdale, Tracyton, Seaback area. But this is a live look to bring you out of Paulsbo. And it just shows you, again, how dark the skies there are in Paulsbo as this tornado warning and this weather system moves its way through that area right now.
And it gives us that look, though, too, at some of the sunshine that, Kristen, you were explaining kind of comes into play here, creating the severe weather. I just want to mention quickly to anybody who's just tuning in, we are staying on the air through the course of this tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. A very unusual situation for us. We do see tornadoes every once in a while. We do not often have something like a tornado warning issued, urging people to get in and take shelter. Kristen, I know you have plenty of experience monitoring all types of weather, but we don't normally talk about this here.
Right. It's a rarity when that happens. I wanted to show, again, the rotation. I think Silverdale right now, just south of there, is getting the worst of the storm now. I don't know if we can switch over to our, is this
radar.
our?
It's the radar.
Yeah, can we switch over to our other radar source real quick? Because this is going to show a little street level view. Perfect. Okay, so this is looking exactly at Silverdale, where the most dangerous part of the storm is right now. So if you're looking at the Northwest Newberry Hill Road, Fairview even, the Tracyton Boulevard Northwest, that particular spot, it's just to the south of that blob of orange and red that has the most rotation at the moment. Again, this is Doppler radar indicated, getting no reports from the National Weather Service yet of an actual confirmed tornado on the ground. But just know that it can happen quickly. If anything, there's the potential for damaging winds. We've had a lot of rain saturating our soil, uprooting trees. That's going to be something common here. Street level view here of Silverdale, an area that is currently under a tornado warning until 12:15. I would even argue Central Valley, just to the northeast of Silverdale. That is also in line here, timing of which could be fairly soon here. Getting the exact timing, 12:02 would be the time that the Central Valley location will see a dangerous part of this storm. So again, tornado warning, we have this in effect here for Silverdale. Going until 12:15. So there it is right now. Silverdale, I would argue just west of there, you're in the clear, but Silverdale, Central Valley, you need to take shelter right now. This is a dangerous storm showing indication of rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if the Doppler radar even extended this a little bit further east of Silverdale here momentarily. Suquamish, that's another spot that's down in the line here. But that's going to be a little bit further down, about 12:15. So, okay.
Kristen, is that with the warning ending at 12:15? That's a pretty quick window. Is that just based on the size of the storm and how quickly it's moving through, or is that pretty normal that a warning would only last, I mean, say about half an hour from when it started?
Yeah, pretty normal, especially with the tornadoes that we get here in Western Washington. They occur quickly, sometimes a little to no warning, but they can produce a quick spin-up twister within the next 10-15 minutes. Now, can we go back to our other source? There we go. So this is the tornado warned area here. Central Valley is in that tornado warning. The most dangerous part of that storm is in between Silverdale now, moving east into Central Valley. So Doppler is showcasing what we call a rotation couplet, if you will, going back to my trusty velocity map here, because it really shows exactly where we have that spin. I'll even draw on the map here. So basically, Central Valley winds are coming in this way, but we also have winds coming in this way. So you get that little bit of a spin in the atmosphere, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now within this thunderstorm. Winds going into the storm this way and coming out this way. So you get that quick little spin. And that's the spot right now. Central Valley, Silverdale, in line for what could be a damaging tornadic storm. So again, tornado warning has been issued from the National Weather Service's Doppler radar is indicating the possibility of a tornado. If you're just joining us, this is specifically for Kitsap County. This is for areas of the Erlin's Point, the Kitsap Lake, Silverdale, all the way into the Central Valley area. And they have just, as we were just speaking, they have extended that warning to include areas farther east, as we just got an update here.
I think they've extended the time as well, Kristen. My phone just actually started beeping with the warning lasting now until 12:30.
There we go, yep. So a new warning has been issued, now includes portions of Bainbridge Island, Suquamish, and also Kitsap counties. So that's because the storm, Molly, continues to drift northeast into areas of Central Sound. Again, this is still south of Paulsbo, but Battle Point, the Suquamish area, Bainbridge Island, new tornado warning. This is from the same storm that is now moving a little bit farther north and east. Still showing signs of rotation, actually with this particular cell. So we're not letting our guard down yet. And we're going to continue to roll on coverage here for...
Right, we want to stay on the air for anybody who's just tuned in here right at noon for regular programming. We have a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. It's in effect now. It had been until 12:15. It's now been extended until 12:30. And our plans are to stay on the air with our coverage until we know that this threat is over. And it is a real threat, Kristen. People who are outside or who are in shelter that's not as secure, perhaps a mobile home or something, it really is imperative that if they're listening to us that they get into some good shelter right now.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these areas that are potentially going to be seeing the damaging aspects of this storm. This particular severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado was located near Paulsbo. It's just near Bremerton and moving north at 30 miles per hour. Other areas that are included, mainly rural areas of the eastern central Kitsap County, including Bainbridge Island, Indianola, Suquamish, also the Silverdale area, which we were talking about, and Kingston. So if you live near these areas, now is the time to seek shelter. This is a very dangerous storm capable of producing a quick tornado. We're talking tree damage. We're talking maybe some structural damages of homes and buildings. So where is the safest place to be? The safest place to be is away from windows, indoors. The inner hallway is a great place to be, but I often tell people the bathtub is also a good place to be. And you really want to cover your head because flying debris often results in fatalities during tornadoes. It is the #1 most dangerous aspect of tornado, the flying debris. So cover your head and seek shelter away from windows and in an inner hallway or the bathtub, a good place to go as well.
And that's something, those are warnings, Kristen, that I know a lot of people here aren't as familiar with. So I'm glad that you're able to pass all of that along to everybody. The National Weather Service says that the area that's affected by this, and their initial warning that they put out was more than 86,000 people. But as you've explained, now that area has expanded some, so bringing thousands more people into it. And just experiencing something that is pretty rare here. Even people who have heard of the few tornadoes that we've had here, the most severe recent one would have been in Port Orchard, so not too far off from where we're talking about.
Right.
People still don't necessarily have the experience or the familiarity with it to know exactly how to react. And it is happening right now, and so people need to be able to react quickly.
Yes, so we have a tornado warning. We also have a marine statement also issued. That's what you see here just off of the Kingston Mukilteo ferry line there. But the red is certainly the tornado warning from what is a very dangerous storm. Again, we're going to go back to where exactly this is. and it's primarily in portions now of just south of Suquamish area. That is where we still have some rotation as indicated by Doppler radar. Can you help me, Chase?
Yeah.
I got our trusty engineer here with us this morning. Can you scan over to Suquamish too, to see exactly? Yeah, if we can go over to there we go. So he's helping me out here. You notice that green and also the yellow-orange blob there on Doppler near Central Valley. That is the strongest part of the storm, and pretty soon Agate Point, Suquamish, Indianola, those are the areas that you really want to seek shelter right now. This is still a very dangerous storm, and the timing of that heading in your area, I'm getting the timing here momentarily, 12:07. So the next 2 minutes, it's not a whole lot of time. So within the next 2 minutes, I would argue get indoors, stay away from windows, and just wait out this storm as the tornado warning that is issued for this area continues for the next 24 minutes, and we will stay on air here and continue our severe storm coverage as it continues to be a very threatening storm.
And Kristen, with some of that expansion, I just had a couple more numbers that the Weather Service has shared with us, including, as you mentioned, Suquamish and Brownsville, Rolling Bay, that tornado warning until 12:30. They say that's an additional, the population in this area, 56,639 people who have potential exposure from a tornado if one does develop here, 23 schools and 1 hospital. I mentioned I grew up in the Midwest. We had tornado drills all the time. And so even though it's less common here, the schools do have those plans in place. So if you have kids who are in school right now in these affected areas, they do know what to do and are making sure that the kids are away from windows and that they're in the safest spot possible. It's one of the things that gets practiced at school, just like the other drills. More likely they've done earthquake drills here, but undoubtedly have practiced what to do in a tornado as well, or at least the teachers know and are keeping the kids calm and keeping them safe away from the windows primarily.
Yeah, very, very good point there, Molly. Yeah, we don't often deal with this, but sometimes our atmosphere is conducive for these quick spin-up twisters, and that could be the case. Again, Suquamish, Indianola, excuse me, those are the spots here. That's where the worst part of the storm is right now, as it continues to move northeast out of the Silvergate area now and into areas just north of Bainbridge Island. So dangerous part of the storm. I'm going to go back to our, because oftentimes, Doppler radar can only tell us so much, and I want to go back to our rotation tracker, because this kind of shows us how the storm has evolved in terms of rotation, and you can kind of see it here in the last few frames here. I'll try to slow this down, but I'll also circle where we've seen this rotation. You see it right there, going from Silverdale to Port Madison. There's just a little bit of spin with this particular storm, and that's why the Doppler radar is showing that, and that's why the National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued the tornado warning. Again, this is for areas of the Kitsap Peninsula. If you are just joining us, severe thunderstorm has been showing signs of some rotation with a possible tornado trying to develop. Again, this is Doppler radar indicated. We have no reports of a tornado actively on the ground right now, but that doesn't mean that one is not occurring, because oftentimes it can be shielded by rain, and not to mention some low clouds. So this tornadic thunderstorm still over some very rural parts of the eastern central Kitsap County area, but it also includes Bainbridge Island, the northern part of Bainbridge Island, Indianola, Suquamish, Silverdale, and Kingston. This, as it moves into the open water too, it looks like it's still showing what could be some rotation just south of Suquamish, Indianola as well. So right now, those are the two spots with the most damaging aspect of the storm right now. So it looks like it's trying to get a little bit more disorganized at the moment, but the leading edge of that storm, moving out of Agate Bay, moving just south of Indianola. So if you live anywhere near Agate Point, Port Madison, Suquamish, Indianola, this is a serious storm. We urge you to take the warning seriously. and stay indoors and away from windows, and cover your head too. So fatalities often occur with flying debris during tornadoes. So.
Right, Kristen, that's one of the warnings that the Weather Service had put out as well, just telling people to be aware of that and watchful for flying debris, and obviously just get indoors and away from it. I mentioned that schools are affected by this. Obviously, quite a few schools are in this area. Dozens of schools would be taking care of the kids. And I wanted to share that we did get an alert specifically from one of the private schools in the area, Gateway Christian Schools. And what they're saying, I think, would apply to any of these schools, saying that they are aware of the tornado warning. They're saying that at their school, students and staff have all been relocated to a safe place together, and they're emphasizing, please do not attempt to pick up your child. That would apply to any of these schools. You should not try to leave your house right now and get to school. I know that urge is always there when you feel like your kids might be in a precarious position, but right now is the time for you to take shelter where you are and know that the schools, the teachers and staff are taking care of your kids, that they know what to do, they know the safe places in the buildings.
Right.
And really inside a school building, if they can get away from, windows and any places where there might be concerns of debris if a tornado actually does form there, your kids should be in a safe place in a school building.
Yeah, hope they are heeding the warning, Molly. So going back to the satellite and radar, the origins of this storm, it did start off right there near the Kitsap Peninsula, that shade of deep red north of Bremerton, and right now it does show signs of weakening as I just look at the overall radar trends. Still looking at some rotation to this, just south of Indianola here. This is still the portion of the storm that is indicating some rotation. Again, the open waters. Moving out into the sound here at the moment. That, by the way, there is a special marine warning. That's what's shaded here in the yellow. That means that this could be, if there is an active tornado on the ground, if it goes to the open waters, then that could be deemed a waterspout. So they're a little bit different. When they're over water, they're a waterspout, and when they go over land, then they're deemed a tornado. But the overall motion of this is to the north and east. So we're keeping an eye on the shorelines there. Of course, Edmonds, all the way down to Discovery Park there, just outside of the Magnolia neighborhood. But as I look at the Doppler here right now, certainly the most dangerous part of that storm, I do have a hunch that it is, again, crossing out into the water now. Going back to, we had the Suquamish area. The rotation is not as robust as what it was just moments ago. I still think there could be some gusty winds to this. But now the overall motion is moving out over the water. In any case, I don't want to let our guard off just yet. I think there might have been some pretty good gusts there near Suquamish just moments ago. Indianola just south there to the open water, right there near the spit.
And Kristen, you're mentioning the rotation moving over the water, and you had also shared with us that the Weather Service had put out that special marine warning a short time ago as well for the Puget Sound and Hood Canal. What exactly, I'm sure mariners around here know what it means when they get a marine warning, but is that a matter of you need to get off of the open water, or what are the protective actions there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the special marine warnings just simply means that there's going to be some very rough water and dangerous, life-threatening ocean conditions here, water conditions, just east of Indianola. Kingston Mukilteo Ferry, that could certainly be impacted here. I wouldn't want to be on that ferry at the current moment because that is right where the route is actually and where the storm is heading to right now. So the special marine warning, I'm going to label the specifics here. It's issued when waterspouts could also occur. So again, this thunderstorm has had a history of potentially producing a tornado on land. And now the thunderstorm is moving over the water here, just near the Kingston ferry run there. And it could produce just a quick little waterspout near that area as well, not to mention those hazardous seas. So that can do damage to some boats, the ferries, obviously, any boats that's docked nearby. Large waves, high winds, that sort of thing. And that's why the marine warning is issued for that very same reason. So that is what's indicated here in the yellow shade. The red is the tornado warning. that, again, we still have for the next 15 minutes or so. Again, the tornado warning has been for Bainbridge Island. It has been for the Suquamish area. I would probably I can see the National Weather Service. You know, the National Weather Service, they are the officials who issue the watches, the warnings, the advisories. They do a great job. We partner with them, relaying the important information to the general public. I wouldn't be surprised though if they went ahead and slowly but surely allow that to expire as the storm doesn't look as strong as it once did. It's weakening, and now it's beginning to move out into the open waters. But yeah, for a time there, it really was showing some interesting rotation anywhere from the Silverdale area through Suquamish and Indianola. So I haven't had any reports, Molly. I don't know if you guys have had any reports there at the live desk of any damage, but it's just probably one of many today. In fact, we're going to look quickly at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for this afternoon. And sure enough, that was the spot here under the marginal risk. Now, marginal risk means that there could be isolated severe thunderstorms. That will continue to be a threat today. Any thunderstorms that develop could be quick spin-up producers of tornadoes, just brief yet weak tornadoes, and also capable of damaging winds from any thunderstorms that develop. That's going to be extending from the Kitsap Peninsula area all the way to the Pacific coast. And like we just saw here, areas of the Kitsap County all the way into Indianola have been in line for a dangerous storm here already today.
Kristen, you were asking if we had any reports of damage here in the studio or from the live desk, and we haven't. I will tell you that just in searching through social media, which in this day and age is one of the first places we learn of things like that, I have seen people posting videos just of a lot of wind going. I'm mainly seeing people who are shocked that there has been a tornado warning here at all. People talking about how they've lived here their whole life and have never been under a tornado warning before. I wonder if real quickly you could make sure too people understand the difference between getting a tornado warning and if it had been a tornado watch, because a tornado warning just is much more indicative of danger right now.
Right. A tornado watch means that conditions are favorable for a tornado. A warning means that a tornado is possibly occurring and is or imminent. In this particular situation, this has been a tornado warning because Doppler radar was indicating the possibility of a tornado developing in this thunderstorm that tracked right over the Kitsap Peninsula. And it looked like the National Weather Service went ahead, as we were thinking, expired that tornado warning. The storm has weakened considerably, still potentially some gusty winds there near Kingston, still keeping an eye on thunderstorms near the Kitsap Peninsula as well, producing dangerous lightning out just north of Belfair. But for now, the tornado warning, as we expected, has been allowed to expire. That means that the tornado threat is now over.
And Kristen, real quickly, we actually have a meteorologist from the Weather Service on the phone with us. Amanda, is it Amanda Boyd? Did I get your last name right, Amanda? Sorry.
So it's Samantha Borth.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I couldn't quite hear. So, well, it sounds like you're getting on here with us right as Kristen has shared with us that the Weather Service has now let this tornado warning expire. That's correct?
Yes, that is correct. It looks like it's weakening as it crosses the sound.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it's been like there in the Weather Service offices here for the last half hour or so?
Yeah, it's been a little bit busy. We've been watching the radar pretty closely.
Tell me a little bit
so
about...
we saw the storm pretty much track, and we saw rotation indicated on radar, and that's pretty much why we issued the warning. And as it crosses the sound now, it looks like that's pretty much weakened. However, that being said, we will still see potentially really gusty winds with that.
And so, and those gusty winds could still be damaging, but just not quite to the level that we were concerned about.
Right. Yeah, that looks like the rotation has weakened in there.
Can you tell me a little bit about exactly how things came together that brought the warning in the first place? Because, you know, as you obviously know, getting a tornado warning here is quite unusual, and I know it sparked a lot of surprise and concern across the region, including in Seattle, where people's phones were alerting them of this warning.
Yes.
Right, yeah. So conditions have been pretty favorable, just in general for thunderstorms along the coast and the Olympic Peninsula this morning. So we had a system move through the area, and kind of in the wake we've got these scattered showers and thunderstorms, and the atmosphere has been destabilizing this morning and this afternoon. And so we've been kind of watching. So when we watch on radar, we've been looking for rotation, and so that's what pretty much sparked this morning.
And Amanda, have you received any reports of a sighting of a tornado or any significant damage?
Not yet.
Would you normally have heard from somebody this quickly, or would it be more likely that it would take some time before you would hear from someone?
It can change. Sometimes it's pretty quick, but sometimes it takes a second. So it's definitely something that we're looking for as well.
Okay. And can you walk me through the process if you do get reports that there had been either a tornado, a potential tornado, or that type of significant damage? The Weather Service, then you actually go look on the ground, right?
Yeah, correct. So we will send a team out on the ground and survey that damage.
Is that something that you might do even if you don't get reports of an actual tornado, just in this case because it was such an unusual situation?
It's possible, but we'll usually rely on reports or at least some sort of indication that a tornado may have touched down.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate you joining us and during what I know has been a very busy last half an hour plus for you. Before I let you go, just tell me what you are seeing right now and kind of what you expect to be happening here throughout the day weather-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got thunderstorms, at least thunderstorm potential for the coast, and then the Olympic kind of going to continue to monitor that throughout the afternoon. Once the sun sets, it looks like that threat is going to go down.
All right, Amanda, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you and the work being done over there at the Weather Service. Thank you very much. Kristen, let's get back to you. Amanda was able to just sort of reiterate some of what you had just seen. You saw that system just sort of dissipating, and sure enough, as you were predicting, that tornado warning was lifted earlier than expected.
Yes, and that's often the case. You know, these are quick spin-up tornadoes that occur in western Washington, often the case. We're still looking at thunderstorms to move on through the Kitsap Peninsula area, Kitsap County. Of course, we have a few lightning strikes there just north of Belfair. Pretty soon, we could also probably see pea-size hail out of that particular cell that as it moves northeast will be near the Tracyton area, Bremerton, Silverdale once again. So it's kind of like a continuous line of showers embedded in which are thunderstorms, still producing prolific lightning as you travel south and west into Hoquiam. We have a cluster as well out near Forks in the Neah Bay area. So this is not the only area that could see severe thunderstorms. You notice that area in that deep shade of green here, that's a marginal risk. Now, this is the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. It just highlights the possibility of more isolated, strong to severe thunderstorms, the eastern extent of which is still near Hood Canal, Shelton, Kitsap Peninsula, even south into Olympia, mind you, and all the way west to the coast. So these are the areas that have the best potential of seeing, again, isolated thunderstorms with damaging winds and maybe a brief, weak tornado. So we will keep you posted. We will be here, of course, just keeping an eye on the radar and keeping an eye on these thunderstorms as they continue to evolve today.
All right, Kristen, thank you. I want to give you a break for just a second and talk to Holly because in addition to that tornado risk, we've been hearing, Holly, about concerns about hail, and you're saying that that's been the case.
Yeah, we're finally getting some pictures of what people are experiencing over there in the Silverdale area. Now, no reports of any damage, but we are getting pictures of hail. Here's one, Bill Fagan and Mitch Courtwright sharing these pictures with us in that Silverdale area. Thank you guys so much for sending these in. Here's another one, and take a look at this, quite a bit of hail. This one from Mitch Courtwright. You can see the ground covered with hail, almost looks like light snow. I want to take you back live to Paulsbo, though, and just show you a live look of the sky in Paulsbo. Again, Paulsbo about, 10 miles, 11 miles north of that Silverdale area. And I've been watching the live camera. I haven't seen any water spouts out there or any possible tornadoes, but the sky is extremely dark from that storm system. Let's just refresh this real quick because it looks like this might have timed out a little bit. Since it is about 12:23 right now. Another live look, yep, it is still pretty dark over there. And again, no reports of any damage so far, but we are seeing hail in that area right now.
It's pretty stunning how some of that hail actually looks like snow. It's
I know, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Because that area where it was covered with hail, it looks like it's a walking path or something, maybe even could be a yard, it's hard to tell, but regardless, it's white.
Right.
Just covered with hail.
And Kristen, that's a good reminder for people that even though now this tornado warning has expired, forward, you see something like that, and you know, you do definitely still need to be taking care and caution as people head out.
Yes. Yeah, look at that. Well, I mean, we often see this in the springtime, you know, when we still have some colder air aloft in the upstairs atmosphere and we get those springtime thunderstorms to pop. But going to the Doppler radar, yeah, indeed, it is indicating the presence of potentially some hail suspended aloft within the thunderstorm. Again, we're looking at the Kitsap County area, Hawley, Crosby, Wildcat Lake, just west of Kitsap Lake. This is the spot that is showing some of that small pea-sized hail. And I would even say, as we were showing, you know, near Paulsbo and even near the Kingston area, right there near the Kingston-Mukilteo ferry line, possibly seeing some very small hail out of these stronger showers that are now developing. But that's what we have currently. Again, the thunderstorms producing obviously dangerous lightning too. Want to make note of that. Cloud-to-ground lightning strikes currently being detected in between Paulsbo, south into Silverdale, Bremerton. So of course you want to just seek shelter and wait out the storms here, because it looks like we're going to be in it here for the next few hours with a chance of more thunderstorms and hopefully seeing less of the severe variety here from here on out.
And Kristen, we can check in with KOMO's Keith Eldridge, who instead of taking shelter when we said people needed to, is headed actually towards that area. So Keith, I'm getting a view of what you see out your windshield right now, and honestly, it doesn't look bad.
No, at this point, we're not getting any rain, not feeling any wind, but we are just in Port Orchard at this point, which ironically was the scene of the tornado back in 2018 that came through this area on December 18th, and there was dumping rain, but we're not experiencing that yet. There's another lightning flash. We are northbound on Highway 16, just coming up on the car inlet area, so we haven't rounded the bend to Bremerton or Silverdale as yet, but on the outskirts of this tornado warning zone, we're not seeing really any impact other than the dark skies, but the wind's not swirling around. Traffic is still moving at a quick pace. We understand Hood Canal Bridge has been closed, which obviously means it's open to let the waves go through, but we're not seeing any impact on traffic so far. But again, we are still just right on the outskirts. We're on the outskirts, and we'll stay tuned for you. And if we see anything, we will definitely let you know.
All right, Keith, I appreciate that very much. Keith's audio breaking up there a little bit, but I think you could catch him saying that they're headed there. They're at the outskirts of the area. We know that they'll stay in a safe zone. Passing through that Port Orchard area, it's been almost, we're coming up actually on the 3-year anniversary of when an EF2 tornado went through Port Orchard. Kristen, as we're looking at this picture, he's headed in towards the area. He's going to check and see if he does come across any type of damage as he gets more into central Kitsap County there.
Okay.
But we are seeing right now just some clouds overhead, not even any rain right where Keith is.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know, because, you know, Doppler radar can only tell us so much. We really rely on the ground-based observations and oftentimes storm reports from viewers, from storm spotters, and glad Keith is one of our storm spotters today, right now moving into the Kitsap Peninsula. But that's also a spot, again, you know, the Wildcat Lake area, Silverdale, they just had one severe thunderstorm roll on through. That was a tornado-warned storm for a time, and now they're getting a second thunderstorm to move on through. Non-severe at the moment, but it is producing small pea-sized hail, prolific lightning, and also probably some gusty winds. And as we've seen already today, these winds have been strong enough to down tree limb branches. Our soil is so saturated at the moment that it really doesn't take much wind to uproot these trees and cause them to topple over. So you're still seeing the potential there, Kitsap Peninsula here, Kitsap County, of more thunderstorms over the next 30 minutes or so.
And Kristen, Holly actually has some new video for us. Holly, you're finding some video of some of those winds.
Yeah, take a look at this, Molly. We're just getting this in from Sierra Elvin, who sent this to us in that Silverdale area. Again, don't have the specific location, but Sierra's sharing this with us. And you can see by that tree, the video will come back around and show you the tree just kind of whipping in the wind there, those branches flying all around. And then here, we'll show you that tree right now. But this is just just shows how windy it was. Again, no reports of any damage right now, but we are seeing reports of hail with those pictures we just showed you, and then just how windy it was. And take a look at the sky and those clouds. And Molly, we've been mentioning and kind of joking a little bit because you see so much sun in some of these too, but those dark clouds certainly an indication of other things that are happening up there in the sky.
Right, and Kristen had explained to us that that sunshine is part of what just creates these dangerous conditions. Kristen, we'll wrap it up here in just a moment since the tornado warning has expired. That's good news.
Yes.
Just final word, though, can you let people know what else we have ahead of us today? It is still some concerning weather on the horizon.
Still concerning weather. We have the thunderstorm risk again today. We have a thunderstorm right now just west of Bremerton, south of the Bangor area, producing lightning, small hail, potentially some damaging winds. That is non-severe at the moment, but you look just across the Olympic Peninsula, still numerous thunderstorms producing lightning, dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning, and there's still the potential for a brief yet weak tornado to quickly spin up with some of these thunderstorms today. And the greatest possibility of that occurring will be along the Pacific coast on into areas of South Sound, including near Mason County and western Thurston County. Of course, we will keep you updated right here on KOMO News throughout the afternoon.
All right, Kristen, thank you so much for getting us through that. Glad that the tornado warning has expired. We will now return you to your regular programming.